history with Matt. Welcome, everyone, and just pleasure to be here. I just want to mention that my history with the Matt program is probably the longest ever, because I joined the Matt at that point. It was just a certificate in 1997, and it was the time when the technology-based distributed learning certificate was offered for the first time. So I was in that first cohort, very interested in the new opportunities for teaching and learning. I have to say, I didn't know what I was going into because it was so new, and I couldn't even imagine what the learning would be. But I enrolled into the program, and I took my courses from Serbia, where I lived at that time. So it was something that I didn't even know how I would finish it because I didn't have a computer even at home. I used my work computer to download and to work on the materials, read in the in the car when waiting for my son to finish the basketball practice and doing all of that. And when I moved to Vancouver in 1999, I continued with my program and finished here. And at that time, because Met was not still developed, I continued my master's degree at the Tabasco University, but I always wanted to come back to Met because it meant so much for me. And part of it is actually thinking about my career. I worked in a completely different work field. I was an interpreter or translator in the oil refinery, but I always wanted to teach, and I taught at that time in private schools. And I thought, what a great opportunity, because I could take this program from my hometown without leaving the country, and enabled me to move to Canada, actually, because at the when I was at the embassy, they asked me what I would like to do when I move, and I said I would like to be an instructional designer, and I had no idea what that actually meant, but everyone was fascinated by that, and I think that's what made me go through that interview very fast, and they let me come. So it took me a while to actually become a Met instructor, because I had to finish all my other school and finish my PhD, which ended in 2011, and that's when I started teaching in the Met program. And I wanted to share this history because I know that all our Met students or not all, but a great number of them, after finishing Met, they become leaders in their field. And I remember Tony Bates at our graduation, when I finished the certificate program, he said, "You are the future of this country, and this is something that will happen in the future." So think about your career and lead. And I think that's what most of the students who go through the Met program, they become leaders, they become decision makers, they become people that everyone look at and ask for advice. And I think that's partially because it's not only, it's a lot about technology, and technology we know is everywhere around, but it's not only about that, but it's about that understanding of teaching and learning, and how we operate in that virtual versus a real life space. Well, that is real as well, but a physical space. And I always like the support from the faculty, because that meant a lot to me when I was back in Serbia, because I was so alone. And the faculty members were all so supportive. Jeff Miller was one of my instructors, and of course, Dr. Tony Bates, and especially during the NATO bombing, when I was taking a course. I know he sent a message to everyone, and then I got messages from students supporting me in this journey. So it's quite incredible, and I think that's something that, even though students in the MET program can take their courses, they don't go as a cohort. It's amazing how connected they are and how supportive they are. So that willingness to help and always recognizing that someone is at the beginning of the journey is just remarkable. It really is, I think, the signature of the program. Yeah, I think the big transformation, came first of all because the program grew from the certificate into the master degree, but it's also the number of students that are always attracted to it. That's one part, but also the program itself that a few years back went through a major transformation in terms of adding new courses and having being more up to date, and so keeping up, because we know that at some point MET might have been very isolated in what they are offering, but now there are more programs that are similar to MET, and it has to stay competitive, and it does. It does, and I know people always come and say that they really feel that MET is so valuable. I think it's that community, and every time you are part of something in a different role, I think it enriches your life, right? So being a student was one way of getting into the program, but then teaching and then designing and then teaching. So it's a privilege having all those opportunities. And as an instructor, for me, it's very rewarding every time I teach to learn from students, because that keeps me up to date with the field. I see what they're doing in the classrooms, what apps and things they're discovering, how students are reacting to their design and their work online or simply with the tools in the classrooms. And that's the most rewarding for me, that I always, every time I teach, I learn something new, and it's never the same. So it is an amazing opportunity. That community that I spoke a little bit, I think that's what's unique for me in the MET program, that people are ready to help each other wherever they are, and they're very committed to the program. And it's not just about because they pay, but I think because they love. They all come with passion, and they have. I enjoy the first part of the course, as you know, Carrie. Is really about carving the future and looking into what they are and what they have been so far. And for a number of them, this is some kind of a pivoting moment where they meandered through different professions or different avenues of professional life, and now they want to go deeper into this, and it's just again so humbling to read about their lives and looking into what they can become, and they usually do if they pursue their wishes. Yes, and I know how hard it is to go through the master degree with everything else that is happening in life, right? Because when they come to this program, they're usually not just out of school. They have families. In one term, there is always so much happening in terms of the personal life, right? The birth of the babies and the death, unfortunately, or sickness, and move to another country, and the tons of other things that happens during the term. But that commitment and dedication, it's something really remarkable, and how much time they spent on projects and what they produced. It's just mind-boggling. not just doing the assignment, it's actually trying to make something new and push the boundaries. And that's also something that I really enjoy. Like I always say, this is a system, but you break it so that it works for you. And that's the place where we want to go, to see not the idea of the programmer or someone who invented something, but the creativity is in the application. Really, I would like to congratulate everyone who has gone through the program, but also those who are thinking about the program, because it's a huge step to do a master degree and to decide on such a step, in addition to everything else that is happening in someone's life. And it does reward you, and it can change your life just like it changed mine.